Welcome back to the State of Legends podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Dylan.
And we're back again.
And it's October.
October, Halloween season.
Halloween month. The whole month's Halloween.
It's like a girl's birthday now, or a 30-year-old woman has a birthday month. That's Halloween month.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch a horror movie every night this month, but I keep falling asleep. So I keep having to try to double up. Like one day I'll try to watch 2.
All I see is Christmas decorations going out.
Yeah, I know. They already got I
think it starts earlier and earlier every year. You know, they always say Christmas in July. It's going to be, it's literally going to be that. Christmas in July.
As soon as Christmas is over, it'll be Christmas again. Like
yeah.
January is going to be Christmas.
At least you won't have to take her lights down. Huh?
Be like Talladega Nights. 2 Christmases.
What are we doing this week?
We're covering a very hot topic of a state. I don't know if you've heard of this state before. It's called Ohio.
Ohio. The Buckeye State.
You heard the song Ohio is for Lovers?
I've heard of LeBron James.
If you know any emo girl ever, Ohio is for Lovers is the song. And I happen to have married an emo girl, so
you're moved to Ohio, huh?
So my heart is in Ohio.
I read a thing that said that 50% of the United States lives within 500 miles of, I think it was Columbus, Ohio. They said it's the heart of the United States. So, hey, makes sense.
Yeah, well.
Heart's in Ohio.
Columbus, quote unquote, discovered America, whatever you say, but, I'm just saying.
Almost Columbus Day, huh? Or is it Indigenous Peoples Day? I don't know which one they actually call it now.
My phone says Indigenous Peoples Day, but I'm just happy to have a day off.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We support all days off. What are we going to talk about first today?
Well, so this is going to be kind of a special episode because I think it's the start of our new format. Where I think it's mainly going to be cryptids. If there's something to talk about, like location-wise, that it really stands out, like how last episode we did Area 51,
Yeah.
That'll be the case, but for now, I think we're just going to focus on cryptids because there's a lot of cryptids per state.
And we're getting the feedback. People like the cryptid part. They like the...
I think it's because we like the cryptids a little more, too.
I think so.
We brighten up a little bit.
We like some locations, but some of them, it might be a neat location, but if you can't go and see it, then it's
the same story. It's like 3 people died here, and guess what? It's haunted. Come on, man.
Pretty common story.
Come on.
But you know what's not very common?
What's that?
Well, he kind of is. The Dogman.
The Dogman.
He's pretty common.
Not to be confused with the Wolfman.
No, it's separate. That's a totally different guy.
This is his
calm brother.
It's like you got the brother that really, really impresses the parents. He goes to Harvard. That's the Wolfman. The Dogman's like, I'm just figuring out who I want to be.
Is this like the Peter Griffin meme?
No. This guy, he graduated like 20 years ago, but still lives with his parents because he's trying to find himself.
Well, let's tell us about the Dogman.
Well,
what's he look like? What is? Are we talking about just a big old dog? Is it?
In some cases you'd say 50% dog, 50% man. I'd say like 75% man, 15% dog. And
so
that's not even a full.
So it's just a guy with like a tail, That's
yeah.
What you're talking about?
Well, that still leaves about 10% of whatever left. I guess that's Ohio. No, this it's reported. Since it's different people that have seen him, he's going to be different sizes. So just picture something in between 6 and 8 feet tall. He's built
good size dog.
He's built pretty well, covered in fur. He's got German Shepherd face.
German Shepherd face.
Like I said, this ain't the wolf man. This is the dog man.
I seen some where they said he didn't have any fur. He just looked like a guy with a mask on. That might have been the dog man. That just might have been Halloween.
Yeah, it was just a dude from Vegas.
They're like, well, let's see that dog man now. That's Earl from down the road. He just gets a little wild on the weekends.
Oh, that's Moonshine Earl. But, I got to stop saying But the name Dogman, you ain't going to believe what the name comes from.
What's that?
Let's take a wild guess. It's because he looks like a dog and a man.
Hey, that's a pretty good description.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the descriptions that they just tell you exactly what they're talking about. Like, they were like, oh, this is a poodle cat or something, it's got curly hair and whiskers.
versus, oh, you mean the Kentucky Wrangler?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Just a hillbilly out there with a lasso, or what are we talking about here?
No, yeah, you're right. Dogman's pretty straightforward. Gained all his attention in the 70s and 80s, which, it's peak dogmanery.
Yeah, that's peak cryptid time.
Mm-hmm. To be alive back then.
Man, all the cryptids were out. Did they go extinct, or they just kind of got tired of us and like, hey, man.
They probably just adapted, or, I'm going to say it, Hollow Earth theory. Again, they're hiding.
It could be.
They got tired of all the social media.
They're just hanging out with King Kong down there.
In the 70s, people were seeing them quite a bit, mainly in Youngstown, Ohio. Which there's a lot of stuff in Youngstown, Ohio. We got mafia stuff going on. We got Tony Hinchcliffe growing up there.
And we got the Dogman running around.
The Dogman.
You think it's just one Dogman, or is it multiple, like Dogmen?
It's got to be Dogmen, different breeds, Like you said, there could be a Poodle Dogman.
He lives on the nicer side of town.
There's the Chihuahua Dogman. He's a little leg humper, though. You got to watch out for him.
Yeah.
From what you just spray him with the thing. Get back!
Sounds like if you're in Ohio, just carry around a water bottle, or I guess you carry around a bone to throw out.
Sounds like the furry movement started a little early in Ohio.
Good have.
One of the more, I guess you want to say famous. It's famous in cryptid circles. I don't think your average person's going to be like, oh yeah, I remember the Dogman attack of 72.
Oh yeah, back then it was everywhere.
No, but 1972, he apparently attacked 3 people. There was eyewitnesses seeing big old dog-like creature on his hind legs. This ain't no Cujo. This is 2-legged dog. But the cops didn't even get reported description. It was all eyewitness report.
Eyewitness.
But I guess he attacked 3 people just out of the blue. Sounds like Dogman needs to be put down.
He just needs a better home.
What was that?
For $5 a day, you too can adopt a Dogman.
What was that show that used to come on Animal Planet? Pit bulls and parolees.
Yeah.
pair them up with a parolee.
Dogman in Ohio.
Or even better, what was that one? Pit Boss. It was with the little fella.
Yeah.
I used to remember him beating up people that were mistreating their dogs. You reminded me of Steve Wilkos, like a miniature Steve Wilkos.
I just remember Cesar Millan. I think if you just had a dog, but you just come up and you just, psst, psst. I mean, he'd leave you alone. And just shock him.
That video where that little wiener dog bites him and he grabs him out, choke slams him on the ground, and dog's just, you do not own me.
I've never seen Cesar Millan and a Dogman in the same location. I'm just saying.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
They've never been together.
Don't discover that conspiracy. He'll turn your dogs against you. It's funny, as they say that Mr. Dogman here is nocturnal, which that sounds more like a Catman thing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think most cryptids they say are nocturnal. Something about being out in the middle of the night.
When are we going to get these broad daylight cryptids? That's what I want.
I don't know.
You're waiting in line to get your coffee. You just look over and Bigfoot's over there eating a croissant.
Hey, what are you doing out? I thought you worked the night shift.
Take a picture. It'll last longer. Like most cryptids, he's fast and he's strong. Which, I don't know, man. He's just a dog.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is he like digging in your trash or like, chasing a mailman down the road?
Imagine being a mailman in Ohio. I don't think your dog mace will do anything.
What? No, I'm not getting out here.
They scanned my package, animal interference. I don't even have a dog.
Now, what do you think about the Dogman? Think he's out there?
Yeah, he could be. He could just be misunderstood. He could be that guy, that The guy from The Shining. It's like, I think he was supposed to be a bear, but he looked more like a dog.
What if he was just like a Bigfoot with mange? And they're just like, that's a dog man.
Bigfoot strung out cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't talk about him. He don't come to the reunions.
I don't know. I don't know about a dog man.
I think he's a little weaker entry because we got Wolfman. He's so much cooler.
I mean, I think the only thing gets me hung up is the one description of being, where some of them say it's like a human body with like a dog head. Like that's, I mean, that sounds like a depiction you'd see in like ancient Egypt on a inside of a pyramid, a drawing.
Oh,
you know?
What's
like
his name? Was
Ramses.
Was it Anubis? Was that?
Yeah. That's kind of what it would make me think of.
What if it is? He's just on vacation in Ohio. Of all the places I pick, Ohio. The thing is, though,
like if it was more like a werewolf, like if that's what they were seeing, I think, I don't know. Maybe so.
Wolfman is so much easier. Not easier. Wolfman you got to have a silver bullet. But with a Dogman, like you said, Cesar Millan just you just get him with a spray bottle, put a shock collar on him. What's he gonna do when he gets fleas? You know, it's just like,
I don't know.
I think he's a disappointment to his family, is what I'm saying. If he's related to Wolfman,
maybe so. I think it's just a drunk guy out there wearing a mask is what I think.
Yeah. Who am I to judge?
No, I don't know. It's a Wolfman's. I guess not Wolfman, Dogman. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But look, you know what might actually be out there?
What's that?
Frogmen.
Frogman.
The
Frogmen.
The Loveland Frog Men.
Mm.
Yeah, there's multiples of these.
Well,
this was around Loveland, Ohio. Began in the 50s. They're described as like humanoid type frogs. Some people say they're like lizard-like. Almost imagine a 2 to 4 foot iguana without a tail, or a 2 foot to 4 foot tall frog standing up. I guess they might not be standing up all the time. I think they'd probably crouch down.
Ain't that the dude from Spider-Man? Lizard?
I just think of like, you ever seen like The Wind in the Willows or read that book?
I don't think so.
It's a frog that's like wearing a suit, like a petticoat suit, like with tails. And I mean, that's kind of like just standing on the side of the road with his arms behind his back. That's what I imagine this.
Reminds me of RuneScape. You can get a frog hat, and it's just a big frog head you put on.
It says it's 2 to 4 foot tall, frog-like head, webbed hands, legs. Makes sense.
Webbed hands and webbed feet sounds more like something you'd see in West Virginia, but...
One sighting was in 1955. A businessman claimed to have seen 3 frog-like creatures on the side of the road. Of course, he called it in. Then there was... I mean, what would you think? Somebody called in and said, like, man, I seen this huge frog, the frog man. They're like, how big was it? It was like 2 to 4 foot. They're like, are you sure it's not just a big frog? I mean, what makes you think it's a man? I mean, it could just be a really big bullfrog, you know?
He told me, mind your own business.
There's actually another report in the 70s. A police officer encountered a frog-like creature while driving. He reported that, you know, people, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. But then a few months later, another police officer seen one. And this guy, he got scared. So, of course, if you're scared, you happen to have a gun, what are you going to start doing?
You going to start blasting?
He started blasting at it.
Danny DeVito over here? Anyways, I started blasting.
Danny DeVito. Maybe it was Danny DeVito. Is Danny DeVito the frog man?
It might be. Are these the frogs Alec Jones was talking about? Is this the frogs he warned us about?
It might be.
What were they doing at that meeting on the side of the road?
After this guy started shooting, he got scared and run away. He actually come back, and he's the one who said it looked like an iguana without a tail. And then he basically recanted his story. Said, hey, didn't happen. I mean, probably because he doesn't know what he was shooting at. And he just admitted he's shooting his service weapon at something on the side of the road. He's like, I don't know, man. I was just joking about that. You know,
it's just a prank.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, it sounds like Jeff Goldblum from The Fly. He would have he'd have his match met with these frogmen.
What do you think a frogman eats?
Flymen.
Flymen?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, you really think that? Or he's just eating like, I don't know, like horse flies or something, something big. I mean,
just go get a Whopper. He goes to Wendy's and gets a 4 for $4.
You just always assume, because when you're a kid, they always say, frog just eats bugs everywhere it goes, flicks out its tongue and picks up. I mean, does it get that big? What do you eat, birds or something? A bird fly by?
What's funny is they say frog man, but they kind of more describe them as a giant frog instead of, I would see kind of like how the Dogman was like a shredded dude with a dog head. It's just a shredded dude with a frog head.
This one said large eyes, scaly, rough skin, like leather-like skin, ability to leap great distances, of course, if you're a frogman. I think one of them, they seen the frogman on the side of the road, and it was crouched down, and then it fired off into into the bush, I guess. I don't know where a frogman lives. Sometimes I see frogs when I walk out on my front porch on my front door, they just be hanging there, look like a little tree frog. But I guess you're probably not seeing these people on the side of buildings.
How do they know these weren't toad men?
They didn't have the bumps, I guess.
Yeah, my wife speaks toad.
Does she?
She'll come up to any toad and she'll be like, brr, brr, brr. And I'm just like, it doesn't understand what you're saying.
Maybe it does. Who knows?
Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. Well, it says misidentification of common animals is a theory, but such as turtles or herons. Do you think a turtle or a heron would look like a frog?
No. Turtle would be the closest thing, but a heron?
What are those like real big frogs that they had like in Australia? Weren't they like cane toads or something? That there's some kind of big frog that they were trying. I remember from The Simpsons. Remember they sneaking across there? It's a cane toad.
I was thinking of Futurama, Hypnotoad. Or the aliens from Futurama.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the bigger one, Ross, just devour the smaller friends?
I don't know. There wasn't a lot of other stories about the frogmen. There actually was one in 2016. 2 Pokemon Go players saw the frogman, so they stopped catching.
Brokey?
They weren't catching them all. They stopped. They actually took pictures of it.
Really?
But they said it just looked like a big old frog from I think it was Lake Isabel is where it was. But looked like a big frog. I don't know. Could have been a frogman.
I don't know, man. This was 2016. This was peak Pokemon Go, but it was also peak dressing up as a clown and going out to scare people. What if you dressing as a frog and going out to scare people? What if you misread the memo and you're like, oh, I can't afford a clown costume, but I got this frog suit from the last furry convention.
I don't know. I don't know. That seems like a weird thing to do.
It's funny, and it is goofy, but at the same time, it could be probably one of the most horrifying things if you got to the right director for a movie, because you hear they croak and stuff. You just hear like.
There's got to be. Look it up. See if there's a Frogman
right
movie.
here. All right, let's see.
I'm
gonna guess if there is, it's streaming on Tubi. Oh, Frogman movie. Frogman 2024, not rated, horror. Oh, where to watch? Let's see. Sling TV.
There you go.
In a nutshell, compelling, suspenseful, and mysterious. In 1999, a 12-year-old named Dallas Kyle captures footage of the mythical creature Frogman, but no one believes it is real. 20 years later, he returns to the same place with his friends to obtain irrefutable proof that it exists.
What did he bring back? Like the legs?
Frog legs?
Frog legs.
I'm going to feed the whole town.
Frogman legs. That's not. That may be why you don't see them anymore.
Oh, I bet they're good.
Gotta
Tastes
be
like chicken.
But the size of a foot long is pretty good.
Subway cashing in on that.
We just need a couple of them.
See, I do like these real goofy cryptids though, because there's people that take cryptids really, really seriously. But
Yeah.
I like the ones where it's just like a redneck grandma off the back of her porch being like, I saw a frog man back in
I do too.
1923.
Speaking of goofy ones, I think the next one's pretty goofy too.
Oh, would that be the Charles Mill Lake Monster?
I think that's it.
Yeah, so this fella, I kind of feel sorry for him. This is, you think Swamp Thing, but no. This ain't Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing, he's big, muscular. No, this dude's 7 feet tall, humanoid, but he's no arms. No arms, glowing green eyes, large webbed feet.
No arms. I mean, okay, I get it. It would be spooky if you seen this big, slender web foot thing come out of the water, but no,
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Bite me?
You go grab me. I mean, really, he's not gonna grab you unless he's like he can bend over like super far and
He
bite
does.
you.
You ever see like two giraffes fight?
Yeah,
That's how he hits you. Just
hits you with his neck. He's just whipping you. It's like, God, leave me
sounds
alone.
like one of those squeezy toys. It has like the eyes pop out and the ears pop out.
You want a fun fact about a giraffe?
Oh,
you know,
no.
You know when they're born, they fall 5 feet to the ground. 5 foot drop right off the bat.
Human babies are weak.
Pretty much. You take a 5 foot death drop. See,
That's their test.
yeah.
You want to be born? Survive.
Survive. Yeah. Oh, so the old slender swamp man, huh?
Yeah, he's first spotted at Charles Mill Lake, located near Mansfield, Ohio.
Hey, that makes sense with the name. Charles Mill Lake Monster.
The lake is known for chilling, catfish, and big armless monster.
Big harmless monsters. What is just a catfish? Big old catfish.
He took the same whatever that the frogman took. But, his first sighting occurred in 1959, so we're leaving the 70s here, going back to the 50s. 3 teenage boys described seeing a large creature emerge from the dark water. They ran and told the police about the incident. Local authorities, shockingly, they went to investigate. My kid tells me about that. I'm telling him, dude, stop smoking K2 at the lake.
You seen a what? And it had no arms.
What?
No arms, really. You had me until it said no. Web feet, I can take that. Glowing eyes, that's fine.
Slap him on the back of the head like, you stupid.
It's like, how did it stand up? If it came out of the water, it just...
He's got to have some good core strength.
I imagine he just did that old Shawn Michaels kick. He just rocked back and it stood up.
Oh, the heartbreak monster. The only evidence that was left was a set of footprints, and they were saying that it looked like flippers off of a diving suit.
Oh, flippers, huh?
Flippers like Scuba Steve from Big Daddy.
Scuba Steve.
Well, that's about it, though. He's just walking around. What else is he going to do? He ain't got arms.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be spooky, but it's like, he was just trying to get their attention. He's like, hey, man, can you grab that for me? I've been trying to pick this up for years.
I've had this itch on my back, and it is driving me crazy.
He just had his head going backwards. Just somebody scratch that.
Dude could have just been a diver covered in seaweed or moss or something. And he's like, what is this kid freaking out about?
He was just taking off his wetsuit, and it just looked like he had no arms.
Well, you know what? There's like a lot of mafia activity in Ohio. It could have been a dude whose arms were bound behind his back.
He's trying to get help.
Please.
He's like, I found these flippers, and I'm just trying to get out. This guy was trying to put cement on my feet.
Oh, no, but there's different reports of him being seen in 1963. He was even in a book. There's a book that came out in 1985 called Curious Encounters, written by professional cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman. I don't know if it's Lauren or Lauren. They both sound like names of somebody that would write a book on cryptids.
I think he's a man of the people. It must be a Lauren.
Yeah.
If it was Lauren, I don't know if he would. I mean, he still could be a cryptozoologist. Lauren sounds more like a zoologist.
Lauren sounds like a dude that goes around hunting cryptids.
The most dangerous game.
I've killed 3 Bigfoots.
I've never killed a no-armed swamp man.
Till today. No, but he wrote a book, and in his book he says, I examined the site of these encounters and can testify to Charles Mill Lake's swampy affinities. good home for a Black Lagoon beast. Okay, but the creature from the Black Lagoon had arms.
Yeah, maybe he was there too.
That's the reason. That's the reason this guy don't have arms. He's like, there can't be two of us, buddy.
He was there for the creature from the Black Lagoon, and he's like, "What about me? What about the no arm guy? I guess you're okay.
You're here too, I guess.
I mean, whatever. I'm here for Swamp Thing. But
it's like that coworker. You're having a conversation with your coworkers, and then he shows up, and you're all just like, I guess we'll let him talk.
He just starts talking about something totally different. You're like, oh, okay, bud.
He's like, you guys like Bon Jovi?
I like turtles.
There's limited physical evidence, go figure, for this monster. Most reports are based on eyewitness accounts with no conclusive photographic or physical proof. Some witnesses have described unusual water disturbances, but these have not definitively been linked to the creature.
I will say some of the descriptions I've seen. I know we made fun of this one.
I even drew him, man, and it's
some of them actually had more of like almost like a big serpent look. So he had it was almost like a tail on the back, but it was more like a big old sea monster.
Like Tahoe Tessie, but
yeah, it was more like that.
Tahoe Tessie.
I like this other one because they said he was standing up, so I like her original picture.
I think of that in the original Scooby-Doo intro. They had that diver that came out of the water, covered in the moss, and he had the old school diver thing, and it was glowing green.
This could have been their inspiration.
Three teenage boys. Oh no, I was about to say this is just teenagers in general. It could have been the Scooby Squad.
Yeah.
Rake Monster.
What about the only real evidence they seen was the flipper prints? I mean, that just did they have flippers? I assume they have flippers back in the 50s, didn't they?
Yeah, they were the real big ones.
I mean, that's what I would assume, but I don't know, I guess that's why they had a description of them.
Could just have been penguin. Penguin escaped from the zoo.
It would make sense. A big old penguin.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wouldn't be 7 foot tall, but they could be scared, just, you're imagining, you exaggerate.
It could be 7 foot tall. It could be 3 penguins standing on each other's shoulders. Like the Madagascar penguins. Could be up to something no good.
I mean, it would look like they didn't have any arms.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
I don't know. This one would be, I think if he had arms, it would make him a little more scary, but it's like,
what are you going to do? Flail your head at me? Last words. Famous last words. They put that in the newspaper. Man was killed by monster. Famous last words. What are you going to do? Hit me with your head? He was bludgeoned to death by the head of the monster.
Butted to death. Oh.
Well, Ohio's known for some goofy things, but you know what I think Ohio could really use?
What's that?
A nice family reunion.
Family reunion.
A family reunion of, well, this is plural, so how about the Big Feet family reunion?
The Big Feet.
I think we're about to cover some of old Sasquatch's cousins here.
The family of Squatch.
Now, Sheep Squatch couldn't make it to this one. He was too busy working out in the woods of Virginia, West Virginia.
He's still in his pit vipers.
He's too busy getting yoked about to fight Ultimate Warrior's ghost.
That's what surprised me is they had multiple big feet.
Big feet?
You think it's big feet?
Yeah, Bigfoot's just sounds a little,
Bigfoot's
uncultured.
Yeah,
we're amateur cryptozoologists here. We say what we mean. Big feet.
Big feet. Well, let's start with the first one, the Minerva Monster.
Must be a Deftones fan.
The Minerva Monster is a large ape-like creature, which is basically what all of these will be like. Similar to Bigfoot. I guess that's where I get into the question of, is Bigfoot like the main species? Is there a subspecies?
What if, it's funny because we pay all of our attention to Bigfoot, but we never think about that. We never stop and think Bigfoot's daddy, Bigfoot's mama.
But I just don't know. Like, we talked about the skunk ape. We talked about Florida. It was, is that a Bigfoot or is that like a subspecies?
That's
like you have a bird, but you got a duck over here, you got a blue jay over here, you got an eagle.
One of Sasquatch's cousins got a little freaky with a skunk, and
I think this one got a little weird with a Dogman or something. This one's got a bad attitude.
Yeah, this one's a little mean.
Dark brown or black hair covering his entire body, 7 to 9 feet tall. Named after Minerva, Ohio, where it was reportedly seen. I mean, this one, it has a lot of the same characteristics of any Bigfoot you're going to see. You're going to have knocking, howling, all that stuff. You're going to have the normal stuff. But this one, it's just got a little bit more of an attitude.
If Bigfoot is Garth Brooks, this is Chris Gaines.
Pretty much. I don't know if we can talk about Garth Brooks right now.
Yeah, we don't talk about
I don't know.
Thunder rolls. Yeah, so this is a little edgier Bigfoot is what you're saying.
He's got an attitude problem. It's the most well-known sight of this monster was in 1978. A family was living near Minerva, and they seen this large, hairy creature near their home. Described it as having glowing eyes, which seems like if it's a sinister cryptid, it has glowing eyes. That's a dead giveaway.
Well, Mothman has some glowing eyes. You know?
Yeah, and he destroys bridges all over the place.
Listen, I think he's just silly, okay? I think he's just a silly boy.
I don't know. I think he might be a bad guy.
You're starting to sound like J. Jonah Jameson. Mothman's a menace.
Well, I'm just calling it how I see it, you know. So they seen this family. They seen this Bigfoot that's out here, or some monster. They don't know what it is. It has a glowing eyes, like we said earlier, unpleasant odor, same characteristics you're going to see. But this one, it had a little extra. It just kept on. It started pounding on the window, which, you know, you've heard reports like that.
Let me in. Let me in.
But then the next thing, it throws a rock and hits these people's neighbors. It hits the neighbor in the head. Usually Bigfoot, they throw some rocks, but they usually don't hit nobody.
No.
This guy just had a really good aim.
It's like like in Waterboy, Henry Winkler threw the baseball out the window, and it hit Colonel Sanders right on the head.
I don't know. You would think it's not like they just were trying to get him to leave him alone or something. This Minerva Monster was the one initiating all this. He was coming up there beating on the window. And
he's just a bully.
And then the worst part is their dog, they had a German Shepherd. It got so scared of this thing that it dug a 6-foot hole. And then when the family found it, something had broke its neck.
God. You know what? We probably don't hear about this monster anymore because he broke the wrong person's dog's neck. He broke John Wick's dog's neck.
I honestly think if you were actually a bad monster like this, and they actually were hurting people, I think a lot of people would probably, if you're just a Bigfoot hanging out there in the field, somebody would probably look for you. They probably ain't going to mess with you too much. But if you actually kill somebody's dog, people are probably going to start trying to find you for real,
Yeah,
I'll just give you this advice. If you're a cryptid out there, you probably don't want to kill a dog.
If you're a Bigfoot and you're listening to this podcast, first of all, subscribe.
Yeah, like it. That
what's wrong with you? Come on. Who listens to something and doesn't subscribe? That's just rude.
The only thing is you wouldn't want to mess with more than a dog is don't mess with cats.
No.
We see what happened there.
We saw what happened. Luca Mignata or whatever. This dude's just mean. That's all there is to it. He's like, you go to the family reunion and you're like, oh, is cousin Johnny going to be there? And your parents are like, yes, make nice with him. So, Bigfoot's like, oh. It would make sense that there'd be different personalities. If Bigfoot's really out there, you would think they'd have more personalities. This is the cousin that blows up frogs with fireworks. You're like, man, I just want to play the PS2. And he's over here like, no, we go when I say we go.
They did say they found human-like tracks, so there's their evidence. They always have human-like tracks.
He might be mad because his feet maybe are smaller than the rest of the Bigfoot feet. He's just mad.
He's just got anger. Anger issue. There's when he was young, they're like, there's old medium foot.
Look at you, medium foot. Stop it, guys. They'll grow in. I have a glandular problem.
My mom said that I'd catch up. My feet would catch up with me.
My mom said I'm a grower, not a shower.
Like, what is that? What is that, a men's 9?
Bigfoot's got on his Letterman jacket. And he's over there like, nerd. Minerva's over here. Stop it. Guys, stop.
Surprised he didn't have great balance.
I'll show you all.
He started killing dogs. People forget about them small feet.
Don't come to Bigfoot school tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot about this one. I mean,
I don't like this one. He's mean.
No. I mean, you go from the ultimate Bigfoot, sheep squatch, to just like some mean guy over here.
He's over here like, no, man, I'm trying to find a job. You just don't understand. It's hard for people like me, medium feet.
Medium feet. Somebody sees him and they're scared that they look down his feet like, whoa, man, what's wrong with you? Check your feet out.
Oh.
I thought you were a Bigfoot. What are you, a dog man?
I don't even know why you show up to these family reunions. Nobody likes you. You put raisins in the potato salad.
Oh. Well, luckily we don't have... That's not the only Bigfoot we've talked about.
Yeah, we'll get that nerd out of here.
Yeah. What's the next one?
All right, this one... I actually kind of have my thoughts about this one. I don't think this one's a big feat. I'm talking about the grass man.
Grass man? What is this, a hippie Bigfoot? The grass man? He's out there with flowers in his hair.
Looking like Chong. Hey, man.
Hey, man, gotta eat grass.
This is a surprise, large ape-like creature, similar to Bigfoot.
This one says he's 7 to 10 foot tall.
Yeah, he's got really big feet. They ain't making fun of this one.
No.
Covered in dark brown hair. But they call him Grass Man because allegedly, this is allegedly, folks, he leaves a trail of flattened grass in his wake, which makes me think he's got the biggest feet of all the foots.
I know it says he has dark or brown hair. I just want him to be like a sandy brown, little blondish in there.
He's got blonde highlights.
This is like the Matthew McConaughey, Dazed and Confused. All right.
My feet keep getting bigger. Theirs stays the same size.
I like this one.
Yeah, this guy's a bit of a tree knocker, apparently.
Tree knocker.
Kind of sounds like a slur, if we're going to be honest.
That's weird.
Being a bit of a tree knocker here.
Well, since he's in the grass all the time.
Yeah. You've got the loud vocalizations and an overwhelming odor. Yeah. Starting to think he smells more like the skunk ape than the rest of his brother.
It's Ohio skunk apes. What this is.
He's often described as elusive, but sometimes aggressive when provoked. I think you're catching him on a down day.
Yeah, probably. That's probably the Minerva Monster they've seen. Yeah. They just attribute it to the Grass Man. Grass Man, he's chill.
He's very chill. Harry and the Hendersons chill.
That's what you would think of a Grass Man. Mm-hmm. Harry and the Hendersons.
Mm-hmm. But
not even mad you hit him with a car.
They've seen him in several counties in Ohio, Coshocton and Tuscarawas and Guernsey. Man, I don't think Ohio's real.
These real towns?
No, I don't think so. These areas, of course, they got the fair, dense forests and rural landscapes. It's a perfect prime area for Grassman. One of the biggest encounters in our local circle of amateur cryptozoologists is in the 1970s, there was a family who reported seeing him in their backyard. They said it was a big old hairy boy moving through the woods making loud noises. Was it the kids that saw him? He was hiding in a gravel pit?
Yeah, they said they seen him in a gravel pit. They come running in, screaming to their parents, and then they said they seen him, and like he just kind of stared at them. There was,
what's up, man?
Yeah. He was just grassed out.
Those kids were the same kids from that 70s show. And see, I'm thinking when I hear Grassman, I'm thinking of the dude in a ghillie suit. Honestly, if he wasn't 7 to 10 feet tall, I'm thinking it's the local Ohio militia running drills.
Would you be more worried about the grass man was a Bigfoot out there, or or a militia guy in a ghillie suit?
I think I'd be more worried about the guy in the ghillie suit.
I would too.
Honestly.
I hope he's just a Bigfoot out there.
What you guys running drills for? Y'all know something we don't know? Skeptics suggest that the grass man could be a misidentification. They say the same thing about the sheep squatch. They're saying they could be bears. Or a case of mass hysteria, which, okay, yeah, sure, gaslight the people. Whatever.
I mean, I get the bears. I get people could say that. And there could be some that are bears. Because, most people would think a bear is just on all fours. I mean, a bear does stand up quite a bit. So, if you didn't know what you were looking at or if it was dark, I guess you could see that. But, like, if you're just sitting there staring at this thing and it's standing there, like, pretty easy to tell if it's a bear or not. You know?
You would think, because I don't know. That's just this is Ohio we're talking about here.
I mean, I don't know. I do like all these different big feet.
I love the thought of a Bigfoot family reunion, and this is the guy that if the Minerva Bigfoot is the cousin that you kind of want to avoid. This is the cousin that you go for a walk with on Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say this because I watched it not too long ago. I think the grass man would be kind of like Sonic and Minerva's Knuckles when he's in a bad mood. You know?
Grass man sounds like Sasquatch from Tenacious D.
He might be.
J-Balls! He said, it's not just my forest, brother. It's everyone's. I think we solved it.
I do too. Oh. Where's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at?
You're not going to believe this. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. Hold on a second now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. This place is kind of juicy.
That was the grass man.
We didn't even plan that. That just fell out perfectly right there.
Oh man!
Look into the Sasquatch eyes. This is my favorite one so far. I think on this one.
I think, yeah, probably so. But we got one more. The Ceder Bog Monster.
Ooh, anything with bog in it.
This one, he's a little. I mean, I don't know. He's not really. I don't know. I don't know if he's mean or not because people just see him. They describe him as same thing, 7 to 8 foot tall. This is a little shorter one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because he's in a swamp. He can't stand up, stretch out his legs.
Water's shrinking him.
I think so. Dark fur, large muscular build, large humanoid creature covered in hair. Same thing. I mean, it's actually named after the Ceder Bog, a swampy nature preserve in Ohio where sightings have occurred. It's like a marsh in there. And people it's been back as early as the 40s they seen them. And people would say, oh, there's a big, hairy man running through there. And then they really, he didn't get called the Ceder Bog Monster until there was a group of teenagers that went missing, and they blamed him for it.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I don't know if he was involved or not. I mean, kids playing out in the swamp, then they could just got attacked by some frogmen, I mean, I don't think they got attacked by the Charles Mill Lake Monster. I mean, they come back with bruises on their head.
I was trying to figure out where D.B. Cooper jumped because I'm thinking about Without a Paddle, how Burt Reynolds looked like a Bigfoot. And I was like, it could have been this guy, but I don't think so.
I think it was Washington or Oregon somewhere. Mm-hmm. But then another group of teenagers, they actually reported seeing the Ceder Bog Monster that was in the 70s. They just seen a large hairy figure, had unusual vocalizations. This one just seems... I mean, it says he's elusive and tends to avoid human contact, said to make loud, howling noises, leave large, mysterious footprints.
That's kind of in their M.O., but since he's a bog monster, I like to picture him a little more redneck than the rest of his cousins.
I picture him like a hairy Shrek. Like, get out of my bog.
See, when I picture him, I remember him rolling up to the family reunion. And you get down your fiddle and you get down your bow, kick off your shoes and throw them on the floor. He's the one that shows up with the one-eyed dog and the possum in a sack.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Like, I think he's the one that you call and say, "Hey, you coming to the family reunion?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't get the letter." You know, he's like, I just told you about it. Oh man, sorry. Maybe next year.
Oh, I've been real busy. You know, bog things. You know how it is.
Bog, working on the bog.
Writing songs with John Fogerty.
Down on the bog.
Now, I wonder, these ones whose sightings are kind of spread out through the years, do you think they're the same creature, or do you think they're descendants? Because it's like, do they live to be really old?
I don't know. That's a good question. How old does a Bigfoot live?
Because, you know, like, we like to talk about wrestling a lot. You know, wrestlers that have the giantism or whatever, they typically have so much health problems they don't get to live to be very old.
No.
We saw with Andre the Giant, you know.
Pituitary glands. They kill him every time.
Except for the Big Show. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big show.
Captain Insano.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
I don't know. I don't know if these are the same ones or not. Maybe they're just like, they see me over there, so I'm going to move out of this bog. Nobody will come out of this bog.
I just picture this one he's got a banjo.
You know, one weird fact about this bog was they put a fence around the entire bog. After these kids, you know, I don't know if they got killed by him or they just got lost in the bog, but they put a fence around there and they said it was to keep basically people from wandering in there, and it kept animals from traveling across the road, like deer and stuff like that.
Or donkeys.
But a lot of people said it was just to keep him in. They just trapped him.
See, you're making it sound more like Shrek then.
I think he's like Shrek. That's what I think he is.
Keep animals out so donkey don't go bother him. Donkey!
All these people come in his bog and he...
Get off the bog!
He has to go out there and fight the mayor of this town to get all the animals out of his bog.
Yeah, he's just kind of a bit of a loner.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like all these different ones.
I just really like the idea of a Bigfoot family reunion because it's just the funniest idea. They all got this big table together. Everybody brings their own food. Nobody really likes what the Minerva Monster brings. Grass Man always brings brownies, and for some reason the kid feet aren't allowed to touch them. Just imagine like the big table set up and they have the little kiddie table and it's the size of like a regular adult table.
You think Grass Man has like some braids in his hair? Beads.
He shows up with the Rasta hair, the Rasta hat on. He brings hacky sack with him everywhere he goes.
No, man, I don't want to eat grass. Quit asking me that.
He's got the Bob Marley posters.
I bet if he drives a van.
They're getting the reunion ready, and you hear the van, and you hear the "Love is what I got." Oh well, here he is.
Here he is. Oh.
Meanwhile, Minerva Monster's listening to the same Trapped song 5 times over and over again.
What would you? So who's the worst out of all these we talked about today?
The weakest one?
Who's the weakest?
We had to kind of add more to the imagination for the bog monster, but I wouldn't call him the weakest. Man, I don't know, because the Frogman had so many jokes we could just make.
I really think the Dogman's the worst one out of this.
I hate to say it, but man, if it's just a dude in a dog mask, give that big thumbs down. You can't see it, but Mike just drew a frowny face on the Dogman's notes.
I put a little tear.
You tried.
Yeah, he tried.
A for effort.
Yeah, I don't think
D for dog.
I don't think he's the best.
I hear he's the one that's been eating pets.
I think so. That's who I would guess. If there was any of these who would eat a pet, it would be the Dogman. They said there was reports of him eating dead deer on the side of the road. So,
Dogman when I hear Dogman, for some reason I think of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
you think a Dogman would run in packs? Like, he must be the only one because, I mean, we live in rural areas. So, and I know this isn't common for anybody who lives in a city, but or maybe it is. I don't know. But in rural, if there's a dogs running wild, like just kind of feral dogs, they eventually get into packs. And there's just groups of dogs. I mean, I would think if there's dog men out there, they just finally smell each other out and I was like, hey, let's hang out, you know?
Do you ever get those TikToks? You ever get those TikToks of those people that are they're really into like the whole werewolf scene, and it's always a real scrawny guy without a shirt, and he's like, I'm the alpha of this pack. And they're always like in a weird like polyamorous group, and the women are always like, he's my alpha.
No,
I think this is what...
I don't guess I haven't went down any of those feeds.
It's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down because you might not come back. I think this is what they became.
They probably did.
I'm the alpha of this pack. I'm a level 13.
Level 13 dog man.
I'm a Doberman.
Think if he ever evolved into a wolf man, to a werewolf, people probably wouldn't laugh at you.
Oh, poor dog man.
I think the old Charles Mill Lake Monster, he's pretty low too. I mean, he ain't got no arms, but I think at least he could headbutt the dog man.
Yeah, he can't be swinging around in this. If you had to do like who would win in a fight list, I think Dogman could probably beat the Charles Mill Lake Monster.
I think so.
Think about this. Dogs go for the neck. Well, this dude's all neck.
What if he didn't have any bones, though? What if he's like just...
Oh, he's like a jelly.
Yeah, and he just wraps around him and sucks him into the water.
You just made him scary.
He's like... oh, he just sucks him in there.
he's Gumby. It's just Gumby that they saw. Except for Gumby had arms.
I know.
This dude's a big noodle.
The Charles Lake Mill Noodle Monster.
Charles Lake Noodle. This is goofy. This is probably one of our goofier ones. There's not really anybody here I can take serious except for the grass man.
The Minerva Monster. I actually like the Frogmen better than I like the Minerva Monster because he's a jerk.
He's not likable.
No.
Do you remember them memes I think they're from the 2010s, calling somebody a Kyle? Yeah. You know, the guy that punches the drywall and downs all the monsters. That's this guy. He's all hopped up on Monster. That's why he broke that poor dog's neck.
Man, I don't like you, Minerva. You're a bad dude.
This is the kid that always has in-school suspension. And he's like, why doesn't anybody ever hang out with me?
I don't think it's the Frogmen. They're just too small. And I'm not sure they're just not a big bullfrog. I'm not sure they're just a big bullfrog.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty big frogs. Well, this could be a Princess and the Frog situation where she like kissed him, but her heart was only kind of like half into it, so he only turned a little bit.
He's like,
well, you know that could very well be it. Or they took licking toads too seriously.
I don't know. I think for top cryptid to this, it's
the grass man.
Yeah, it's got to be the grass man.
It's the grass man.
I like the idea of the Ceder Bog Monster being Shrek out there and just like just mad at the world, you know.
Yeah, but once you see this one as Sasquatch from Tenacious D, it's over.
Yeah,
he's going to take you to the Strawberry River. You're going to fly on his back. He's got shiny diamonds that he's got to protect. Me?
Oh, man. Does the grass man take the crown from the sheep squatch, though?
Oh, man.
It's
you
close.
You know how much we love the WWE on here.
But we like Peak of Destiny. We like that too.
Oh, man. But Sheep Squatch never showed up on the Vince McMahon documentary. He didn't take up for He didn't take up for Bret Hart. He was a Goldberg fan.
No. Minerva Monster would have been a Goldberg fan.
Oh, I bet he's going to do a spear again.
He's like, no, I'm not a Goldberg fan. You remember Rhino did that first?
Did you see the other night? Goldberg was at WWE in the crowd.
No,
and he was getting heckled. I don't know a lot of the current wrestlers, but he was getting heckled. He's sitting there with his son, and the guy's like, "I hope you're a better dad than you were a wrestler."
Whoa!
So Goldberg gets up and goes to get in the ring. Well, on Twitter, the son of the late great Billy Mays, OxyClean himself, he's a big wrestling fan, and he was there. And when Goldberg was walking up, he was just shaking his head no. And he's like, Bret Hart for life.
Yeah.
And he said, my dad hated Goldberg.
Yeah.
And look, if Billy Mays don't like you, I don't know, man.
I actually like Goldberg when he wrestled.
Look,
he never lost. He speared a jackhammer.
We're in the Halloween season. If we're going to bring up Goldberg, we got to bring up, what was it? Was it Santa's Sleigh? Where he played the actual Santa Claus, but it turns out Santa was a bit of a demon, and the only reason he was being good was because he lost a game of shuffle. What's that? Where you shot put, where you throw the thing and the person shuffles the ice in front of it.
Oh, curling.
Curling, yeah. He lost a curling match to an angel, so he had to be good for 1,000 years. But once that expired, it was game over. He didn't even have reindeer. He had a big bison. Highly recommend. It's just, there's too many. For me, with the Goldberg, he just looked like an off-brand Stone Cold. And
we jackhammered everybody.
You can't beat Stone Cold.
You really, when you were young and you just seen him when he first came out, like, you could tell if he's a good wrestler or not, because he would spear somebody, then do a jackhammer, and then it was over.
That's all you needed.
I mean,
hey, Brock Lesnar's main thing is suplexing.
Suplex City.
F5. Boy, this derailed quickly, didn't it?
Yeah. It went the wrestling podcast.
Well, I think we need to set up a wrestling league for cryptids.
That's what we'll do. One podcast what we'll do is we'll get a whole bunch of them and we'll rank them.
And see, I like the old name better, so I think we'll do the CWF.
Yeah.
Cryptid Wrestling Foundation. Federation. Foundation. Well, we got to found it first.
I do think that'd be funny.
But if we did that, would the cryptids do their own thing, or would we make up gimmicks for them?
They got gimmicks already.
Who would be the Hulk Hogan? It had to be just Sasquatch, right? Because that's the one everybody knows. No,
it would have to be the Washington or Pacific Northwest one. That
the OG,
yeah,
the OG Sasquatch. That's our Hulk Hogan.
Unless you're going to say that's like Andre the Giant or somebody. But
I'm trying to think here. Now we got Mothman would be Ric Flair because of how he holds his wings.
Yeah,
woo!
Maybe, or he just keeps running and stuff. He might be like Kurt Angle.
Oh, no, yeah, we got to make this.
Just come out with some finishers. Send us in your finishing moves for these cryptids.
Macho Man Randy Savage is the sheep squatch. That just how when he was so jacked, this most jacked era. Oh, he said, come here in the West Virginia woods.
He would be definitely one of those 80s. I mean, steroids,
peak steroids, yeah. Big cannon barrel chest,
yeah,
breaking the wooden chairs over each other's back. I was watching that Vince McMahon documentary, and my favorite thing about it was how young Vince, how he sounded so just, we're at the Worldwide Federation,
generic.
And then the older he gets, Austin, you come in the ring with me.
You're fine.
Oh, who'd be the cryptid Vince McMahon?
Oh, I don't know.
Now, that'd have to be us. We'd have to take on the roles.
Might be that guy who wrote that book you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Loren.
Loren
McMahon.
Oh, man.
I do think that would be funny. We should do that. We should definitely do that. Maybe as a special episode.
I could probably have my wife draw some up
Draw
for a
some
design. Mothman with his wings like this,
I wish we
looking
could
like
do.
Ric Flair's
I
clothes.
wish we could do claymation
Oh,
and literally have a
God.
claymation sheep squatch.
I'm thinking the more edgy ones have to be, like the Minerva Monster. Be Sting. Come out with the bat.
I don't know.
Hey,
He might be more like a raven.
oh no, Grassman is dude love. 100%.
What if they're all just different versions of like one's dude love,
One's mankind.
Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack is the bog one. Dogman would be Junkyard Dog.
I just don't know about the Dogman.
When I think Dogman, I also think Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg sightings in Ohio. He's just, I saw Dogman. I got a recording of him, and it's just, bow, wow, wow, yippee, oh, yippee, yay.
I just feel like the Dogman would be somebody come out and they'd say, like you'd see him for a few months, and then all of a sudden you'd see him in a totally different gimmick, later. Like it was, that was Stunning Steve Austin, and now it's Stone Cold, the Taskmaster.
God, who was it when Sergeant Slaughter, when they tried to make him from Iraq or whatever, and it's just whatever Vince felt like was the most money. When Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
That was pretty good. I liked Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Or when Surfer Sting became Crow Sting.
That one was kind of weird. Like he's like, why he's so moody now? He used to be so happy and like surf and had like a blonde flat top, and then now
he looked like Duke Nukem, and now he looks like the Crow. I think we're gonna start this. We're gonna start this federation.
This is our side podcast, the Cryptids Wrestling Federation. Tune in next week to see who wins between the Sheep Squatch and the Bog Monster.
We do it like a radio show, so it make it real.
Yeah,
we're the announcers, You Jerry.
We just sound like Jerry the King of Liar and Jim Ross.
By God,
he broke him in half.
He's throwing Sheep Squatch in a casket. Oh, the humanity.
You think all these I would just assume all these are going to have to be in a cage match, huh?
Yeah, because, Mothman's just going to fly out. He sees that light. He's done for.
Hope nobody walks out with flames in their entrance. Because
Mothman, no!
He's done for. Next week we'll have one of those tribute nights. Sorry.
Oh.
Where all of the cryptids are standing out there.
Oh, Grassman that took his hat off and he's holding it over his chest.
Oh, man.
There's got to be enough cryptids to align with the wrestling gimmicks. There's got to be.
We've done quite a few already, and we're going to do a ton more. So, if you have a favorite out there, send us in your favorite. Tell us what finishing moves, what you'd like to see out of them.
If they're a heel or a baby face.
Yeah, we definitely got to decide that.
Who would have the best heel turn? Because Sheep Squatch is a baby face, but he could go heel so quick.
What about tag team partners?
Sheep Squatch.
We need to find somebody for the Lake Charles. We need to find a cryptid that just has arms.
He picks him up and uses him as a bat. It'd be like Triple H with a sledgehammer. Y'all see how fast this derailed? This is fun.
This is what it happens.
This is what happens when your cryptids are too goofy.
Yeah.
If we had some real serious heavy hitters this episode, even Tahoe Tessie was more serious than the Dogman.
More serious than the Lake Charles Monster.
That's another thing. If we have the water-based cryptids, how are you going to do them matches?
It's have to be a water match. I guess. I don't know.
It's like the reverse of Hell in a Cell.
They'll be at a disadvantage if they're out there in the cage.
Oh, man, that Royal Rumble would be crazy.
Yeah, because then we're going to start looking at sizes of them, too.
And then you got the theme songs. You just have to remix them.
Like, what if we get drawn out and it's like a sheep squatch? So, he's jacked up on steroids and he's going against a 2-foot frog man.
Let's be honest here. Sheep Squatch is Scott Steiner.
Exactly who he is. That's exactly.
I want to say Bigfoot is. Hulk Hogan, but at the same time, I like to picture him as Big Show because you can make the theme song. Well, there's a Bigfoot.
It's a big bad foot tonight.
We gotta have one that's like a zombie for Undertaker. Dead man walking. You done it now.
I don't know. I think that'll be funny. That's going to be a special episode we do. We got to keep track of them though. We got to start ranking these because we're going to have to. We can't just put all the best ones to squash like the Frog Men and all these weak ones.
The Frog Men are total jobbers. Like,
yeah.
Who's that guy who has like the negative jawline? What was his name? Oh man, they always bullied him.
Sound like somebody got sweet chin music to me.
God, and then like Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
Or who was the blue guy, Blue Monster or something? The one that Home Dude went crazy on with the chair. the dude with the cowboy hat.
Oh.
He obliterated him with a chair. Just went ham on him.
I don't know. I think of Blue. What was it? Blue Blaze. That was Owen Hart.
Nah, this dude had spiky blue hair and he had like blue paint.
I don't know. There were so many of those people. I actually watched a YouTube video. It's probably been a year ago, but it was showing how well do you know wrestling, and then they were showing like a lot of those people who were just barely on there, like the jobbers, and like, I mean, I knew a lot of them and I recognized them, but I didn't know a lot of their names.
Yeah, that's like when I first started watching wrestling again. I was like, who's Alberto Del Rio? Or they had that group with Rusev in it, and there was like that other guy that looked just like Jason Statham. I'm like, when Jason Statham started the WWE? Yeah, it's funny though. There's actual cryptids in the WWE. What was it, Boogeyman?
Yeah.
Put the worms in the mouth? Or was that Sandman that did that? Which
No,
man did that?
Boogeyman.
Boogeyman, okay.
They had all kinds of weird
They
stuff.
had actual cryptids in the WWE. I mean,
Yeah.
Doink the Clown.
ICP.
Chucky showed up last year. RoboCop showed up. Bray Wyatt.
They had the Brood. And all those
Oh,
vampires.
the Brood. And that was
Edge and Chris.
and that was real too.
Gangrene.
Gangrel.
Gangrene. He wasn't the most. It's funny. He was the lead, sort of the leader, and he wasn't the one that was remembered out there.
No, that's like what's his name? Big Justice for the Costco guys. He was a wrestler. Boom or doom. Double chocolate chunk. Boom.
Oh well.
Catch us on our other podcast,
Yeah.
WWE Nation.
I think that's going to have to end it. We're just going to keep going down a rabbit hole if we don't stop.
No, and it's, like I said, it's the Halloween season, y'all. So I'm gonna be talking a lot of horror references. So ready yourself for that.
If you think it's horrible us talking about wrestling, then you're in the right place.
Get ready when I start recommending. Like the other night, I watched Ghosts of Mars.
Coast. I've never
It
even
was
heard of that.
John Carpenter's worst movie. Came out in 2001. Well, Ice Cube is the main lead role. And it's
That's crazy since the other main role he was in a horror movie was such a good
was that Anaconda?
Anaconda.
Yeah, he survives both of them too. Ghost of Mars is like Escape from LA, but on Mars, and it has actual ghost in it. But it's weird. The soundtrack was done by Anthrax. But anytime these crazy possessed Martians would attack, his music would just be quiet, and also it's just every single time. The same riff over and over again. Every single time they just show up. They just be walking and it's just 2001.
I've never even heard of it.
I watched it on Tubi, if that tells you anything.
To be home with the classic horror movies.
And all the cryptid movies you didn't even know you needed. Is Sharknado a cryptid? Find out next week.
Find out next week. Yeah, tune in next week. We discuss Sharknado.
I think this was our tangent episode.
I think so. Hey, if you liked it, let us know. I think we are going to stick with more cryptids because honestly, we like them the best. I mean, it's the funnest thing to talk about.
It's more fun because the jokes are more fun to make. Because sometimes I do feel bad about making jokes about dead people, even though we've done it Done it quite a bit, alarmingly. We've done it quite a bit.
Hey.
We're two wild and crazy guys, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I think the cryptids are more fun. I think, there's a lot of people that take them very, very seriously. I think we're a nice middle ground.
I do. Yeah, that's what I think.
But, it wouldn't hurt if y'all, leave us some likes and subscribe to us. I know.
Leave us some likes, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review.
We're on a fun little road trip here, virtual road trip. I've been doing the YouTube thumbnails, trying to make them look like postcards from every state that we go to. So this one's going to be, I think this one's going to have a lot of the grass man on it.
A lot of the grass man. Oh.
Be sure to tune in next week when we visit the next state. It'll be our, 6th one?
I think 6-1, yeah.
Yeah, America's big.
Yeah, 6-1. You only got 44 more to go,
44 more.
Until we go international.
Going international, baby.
Cryptids abroad.
Mr. Worldwide. Dolly.
Oh. But yeah, thanks. We really do thank you for listening to us. And if you could, leave us, like, review, subscribe.
Love
share.
You, Joe.
Yeah, love you, Joe. We don't even know anybody named Joe. That's weird, though. You said that.
I've never met a Joe in my life. Who names their kid Joe? You ever see a kid named Joe? Give birth to the kid, look down at him, and just, Joe.
Just adult Joe.
Oh, man.
Yeah, tune in next week. We'll see you in the end.
Peace.
Bye.